Subject: Helix-9. In 2012, a private biotech firm called Virion Systems partnered with the U.S. Department of Defense to run an off-the-books human enhancement program. The goal? To unlock regenerative abilities in humans by splicing dormant animal DNA directly into the genome, creating soldiers who could heal from any injury. But evolution doesn't ask for permission. The project was labeled Helix-9. It was shut down 6 months later after a containment breach. No survivors were reported, except one, and he didn't survive in the way you'd expect. The Helix-9 facility was buried beneath the Mojave Desert. No signs above ground, access only by encrypted transport. I was brought in as a microbiologist, contracted for a wound recovery analysis program. That's what they told me. But the truth was hidden in the lower levels, where 10 test subjects were kept in reinforced isolation chambers. Each had been exposed to different strands of recombinant DNA, jellyfish, axolotl, tardigrades, insects. The most promising was subject number 09. He had been dosed with a blend derived from cephalopods, creatures that can regrow entire limbs. At first, the results were miraculous. Then, he began to change. Subject 09, real name Elias Garron, was a 28-year-old Marine who lost both legs to an IED in Kandahar. Within 2 weeks of his Helix injection, his legs regrew. Not prosthetics, not scar tissue, real flesh, muscle, bone. But it wasn't a perfect match. His new limbs had subtle irregularities, slightly longer femurs, unusually jointed knees, a strange webbing between his toes. The lead scientist, Dr. Lyra Mine, was thrilled. She called it adaptive optimization, the DNA rewriting itself, making something better. But I noticed something else. Elias wasn't healing. He was rewriting, and his skin never stopped moving. By week 4, Elias refused to sleep. He claimed it made his body unstable. His hands began to change daily, webbing that appeared and vanished, fingertips that stretched, curled, retracted. One morning he woke up with a third eyelid, translucent, blinking sideways. He spoke less. Instead, he'd press his ear against the walls of his chamber and whisper, "They're in here with me. I hear them chewing." Chewing what? We didn't know. But his blood work showed something terrifying. He wasn't just healing. He was assimilating everything. Pathogens, proteins, even traces of the other subjects' DNA. The more we studied him, the more he resembled none of the original templates. Elias was becoming something new. Week 5, subject #03, who had been spliced with amphibian DNA, collapsed. Her entire digestive system had dissolved into black sludge. Security footage showed Elias visiting her chamber, though all subjects were supposed to be sealed in. He spoke to her through the glass. No audio, just lips moving. She nodded. And the next day, she was gone. Literally. Her room was empty, no bones, no trace. Elias had a new scar on his abdomen. We reviewed thermal imaging. His stomach glowed hot. We thought it was fever. It wasn't. It was digestion. Week 6. The lights went out. All doors on level 3 opened simultaneously. No override, no failsafe. When power came back, 6 subjects were missing. 3 staff members were dead. 2 had their faces torn off, not clawed, peeled. 1 was found half dissolved, slumped against a wall, mouth filled with teeth that weren't his. Elias was gone from his room. But he was still in the building. We tracked his movement by thermal trail. His body temperature was unstable, fluctuating between 98 degrees Fahrenheit and 212 degrees Fahrenheit. He was boiling himself from the inside, cooking off skin that no longer suited him. Dr. Mine called him a genetic nomad. I called him a predator. Before communications went down, we received a final encrypted transmission from the core lab. It was garbled, distorted, full of static. But the last sentence was clear. It's not Elias anymore, it's Helix now. He's the code. He's rewriting everything. I remember that night. The air smelled like salt and copper. I found Dr. Mine in the decontamination chamber. Her body had split open, not from injury but transformation. Her chest cavity had grown teeth. Her eyes were replaced with a lattice of red membranes. She was still alive when I found her. Barely. She whispered, "It's contagious, not a virus, a pattern. The body sees it, and it changes." Then she burst, like a rotten fruit. I sealed myself in the observation booth. Watched the feed. Security footage showed Elias, or what he'd become, walking upright, calm. His skin was translucent, his head slightly elongated, limbs too flexible, eyes black and wet like deep-sea things. Every room he entered, things changed. Metal warped, walls sweated, lights dimmed. Not because he was destroying things, but because the building itself was adapting to him. He wasn't evolving. He was forcing evolution. A living template, rewriting life into something alien. I activated the failsafe, total sterilization. The underground labs were incinerated with 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit thermite plasma. The complex was sealed. They told the world it was a sinkhole. They told me to disappear. So I did. It's been 13 years. And sometimes, I still dream of that red chamber. I wake up sweating, skin itching, fingers twitching. Last month, I cut myself on a piece of glass. The wound closed in seconds. No blood, just something black and wet, like oil. I had my DNA tested. The lab called me in a panic. They asked if the sample was contaminated. I said no. They said, "Ma'am, your genome doesn't match any known species." So here's my warning. If you find a sealed hatch in the desert, if you hear something whisper in your blood, if your skin starts remembering shapes you've never touched, run. Because Helix didn't die in that fire. It just left its blueprint inside us. Erd.